What if I told you that in the fight against cancer, one of our most powerful allies isn't some brand new drug, but a tiny microbe that's already living inside you? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. How this unsung hero in your gut could literally change everything. All right, so let's kick things off with a question that is honestly one of the biggest puzzles in modern cancer treatment. It's something that doctors and patients grapple with every single day. I mean, really think about this for a second. We've got these incredible, powerful therapies, right? Things like immunotherapy. For one person, it can be a total lifesaver. But then for another patient with the exact same diagnosis, it just doesn't work. So what's going on? What's the missing piece here? Well, it turns out the answer might not be about the drug or even the cancer itself. More and more scientists are realizing it's all about the trillions, trillions of tiny microbes living inside our gut. We're talking about our microbiome. It seems this inner ecosystem is what's setting the stage, priming our bodies to either respond to treatment or not. So, in this huge, bustling community inside us, there's one microbe in particular that has started to stand out from the crowd. It's become a real celebrity in the research world, grabbing the attention of scientists everywhere. And its name is Akkermansia mucinifera. Now, this isn't some weird, rare bug you have to go looking for. Nope. It's a totally common, natural resident of your gut. It literally hangs out in the mucus layer that protects your intestines. It's been there the whole time. So, just to give you some perspective, in a healthy person, Akkermansia usually makes up about, say, 3 to 5% of all the microbes in your gut. So, it's not the biggest player on the field, but it's a really important, consistent part of the team. Okay, so why is everyone so excited about this one particular microbe? Well, it's because scientists started seeing this incredible pattern emerge. Over and over again, they found that the presence of Akkermansia was linked to way better outcomes for people fighting cancer. And this link is super, super clear when we look at lung cancer, specifically non-small cell lung cancer. It all comes down to how well patients respond to immunotherapy, that game-changing treatment that helps your own immune system go after the cancer. But here's the part that'll blow your mind, the scale of this effect. It's absolutely remarkable. One major study found that patients who already had high levels of Akkermansia, their response rates to immunotherapy doubled. I mean, come on, that's not just a small difference, that is a huge deal. And look, this wasn't just some fluke or a one-time thing. We're seeing this same positive connection pop up in all sorts of different cancers. We're talking melanoma, kidney cancer, even prostate cancer. And there's even a link to longer survival for people with young-onset colorectal cancer. The evidence is really starting to pile up. Okay, but hold on. This is where the story takes a really crucial turn, and it's a big but. It's not as simple as, hey, more Akkermansia is always better. In fact, what researchers found is that just trying to pump up your levels of it can totally backfire. This is what they're calling the Goldilocks problem. So check this out. A 2022 study looked at this and found that the patients with just right levels of Akkermansia, so under about 4.8%, had the absolute best survival rates. But the patients who had too much, which by the way often happens after they've taken antibiotics, they had the worst survival rates. Get this, they did even worse than the people who had low levels to begin with. Wild, right? This is so important to understand. The takeaway here is not to just try and maximize this one bug. Trying to blast your system with it can completely throw off the delicate balance in your gut, and that can have some seriously bad consequences. Which brings us to a much smarter way of looking at this. It's a more holistic approach. Think of it like this. Instead of obsessing over one single plant, we need to focus on tending to the whole garden. See, Akkermansia isn't a solo act. It does its best work when it's part of a thriving, diverse neighborhood of other good microbes, like Eubacterium and Bifidobacterium. It's the health of that entire ecosystem, that whole garden, that allows these key players to really shine. So the big question is, how do you actually cultivate this inner garden? Well, the research points to some really clear, actionable steps. Number one is a diet packed with fiber. This is consistently linked to better outcomes. And here's the key part. Even more so than just taking probiotic supplements. Why? Because fiber is like the perfect fertilizer for a whole bunch of good bacteria, not just one. So eating lots of different kinds of plants, being really careful with antibiotics, it's all part of taking care of the whole system. All right, let's bring this all home. What's the main takeaway from all of this? What should you do with this information? The point of learning all this isn't so you can rush out and buy some Akkermansia supplement. No, the whole point is to empower you. It's to give you the knowledge to have a smarter, more in-depth conversation with your doctor, with your oncologist, about how your gut health might be a factor in your treatment plan. And that leaves us with this one big final thought to chew on. For decades, the focus has been almost entirely on killing the weed, the cancer cells themselves. But what if? What if tending to the garden, our entire inner ecosystem, is just as important to actually winning the fight? It's a huge shift in how we think about this, and honestly, it could change absolutely everything.